school for IT and business. So for the last 20 years, I've been in the IT industry. I still am in the industry now. I'm currently a director of an IT finance group, and we specialize in building out reports and automation and a lot of different digital platforms and stuff like that. I like it because it allows me to exercise my leadership capabilities, and I guess it allows me to be creative and get into technology because I feel like there's not a lot of black people in tech.
Mhm.
So I'm proud of that aspect of what I'm trying to do in that space.
That sounds good. Tech is where it's at.
That's what they tell me. That's what they tell me.
So, coach, so
Hmm.
what made you decide to get into the fitness business?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say maybe 10 years ago, I was in the worst shape of my life. I have a really bad back, and I had scoliosis, right? So
Um,
with scoliosis, as you get older, you get an onset of arthritis. So, my doctor was telling me, hey, if you don't do something, with your physicality, you're going to have arthritis and, either be on a cane or maybe even be in a wheelchair or something like that. So obviously I didn't want that. So, I got with a similar facility as Neighbor 300 Elite, and I got into like a routine. It starts really small. You might, take an ab class. You might, take some, weight training classes and stuff like that. But you're starting to build a healthy habit, and when you're doing that, you start, having good patterns, and you get the benefits of it. So I started getting stronger, started feeling better, and I noticed that my back was even, becoming more straighter because I was pretty much fusing my spinal cord with the new muscles, and it was straightening my back, and my posture became better, and I just felt good. And then I started creating video content because I started learning more and more about fitness, and I was doing like little short, Facebook and Instagram videos, and people started saying, "Hey, you look really looking good out there. You should be a trainer." And I didn't know anything about being a trainer, so I got certified in it with NASM, and then I started training people. It kind of took off, and I couldn't do it. I started in my house, so I couldn't do it in my house anymore. It was just too many people, and I couldn't do outside because the weather's too crazy. So I actually got with a friend of mine that has a gym in Boston,
mhm.
and when he started his gym in Boston, he was like, this Fit Body Boot Camp thing is taking off. You should really look into it. So I looked into it, and then I opened my own back in 2020, and we did pretty well. But then I did the transition to my new spot, which is Naper 300 Elite. So that's pretty much my journey so far.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, I know I said a lot. So if you have any additional questions, I can expand on it a little bit.
Tell us about your business and like the kind of things that it offers.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we are kind of transitioning now into a new type of a gym. So right now we kind of offer like circuit training at the moment, but I'm going to be expanding it to other things, meaning that I'm going to have certain classes that specialize in like cardio, and it might just be a cardio type of class. So you just do row machines, and you just focus on burning, body fat. And then I'm going to create another class where it's just to learn how to do barbells and how to lift properly and stuff like all that. But right now we just kind of have a lot of circuit training classes, and circuit training is pretty much it's station based. So you might have station 1 through 12. And each station, you're doing a different type of workout. You might be doing push ups in this station, you might be doing squats in that station, you might be doing the row machine in another station. And the science behind it is that you want to stay in motion. And as you're staying in motion, you're, burning fat, and you're getting your heart rate up, and you're boosting your metabolism, right? So that's the whole science behind, just start, staying in motion. And then your body becomes complacent sometimes if you don't switch your workouts up. So, I like the fact that, each station has a different type of workout. So it's kind of shocking your body, and it's trying to push it to make the change because your body kind of wants to be complacent. and it wants to just be and hold on to the fat. You know what I mean? So what we do at 300 Elite, we're just trying to fight against that fat and get you the best results possible. That makes sense?
Yeah, so Coach Marcus,
Yes. What's going on?
um, I like your gym because your team keeps up with people.
Mm,
Like you notice when people aren't missing, you notice when people
yeah,
and
that's
so
another thing.
could you could you describe how is your gym different from other gyms?
Yeah, that's good. I would say well, you brought up a good point, the accountability aspect of it, right? So most gyms, they make their money based off the quantity of people they bring in. And they don't care how they bring them in, and they, just try to pack the house. And they don't care if you don't come. They actually don't want you to come, because if you don't come, that means they don't have to pay trainers and they don't have to keep the lights on and pay utilities. So basically, you're paying into a membership and not showing up. That's more money in their pocket, right? But I'm different. Like, I want you to show up. I like seeing a packed class. I like seeing people that have results, right? So I would say that the way that we're different is because we're more of a family atmosphere. Like when you come in, the coach is going to know you. They may hug you if you get that kind of relationship. They're going to ask you about your family, how your day's going, how's your weekend, and just try to build those connections with you. And they're also going to ask you what your goals are, right? So we have something called a strategy session where we sit down with our clients and we just ask them, like, hey, fill out this form. And it's, a few questions, and each question is based upon you and your goals and what you want to achieve. So we go through the strategy session, we go through the questions, and then in those questions, I try to understand like who you are as a person. So then it makes me understand like what kind of program you would like. So, based off the questions and based off the feedback, we do a couple of things. We put together a playbook. So the playbook is like, okay, I recommend that you come to class 3 to 4 times a week. If you're trying to, achieve something. We go over meal plans in that strategy session, and we also do your BMI scale. And that BMI scale tells me like where you are today, and then where I want to take you, 6 months from now. So we have a whole plan. It's like, okay, if you come in X amount of days of the week and you do this meal plan, I want to see your results, improve by, let's say 10%, and then that gives you the factors that, you need to do to get there. So and again, a lot of gyms don't do that. A lot of gyms, they get you the membership and you kind of on your own.
Mhm.
Here, you're not on your own. You have a coach. You have somebody who's going to actually care about you and care about your results.
Okay. Um, speaking of results, what kind of results have you seen?
I see some crazy results actually. I've seen. I mean, there's a woman named Nuvia. She's no longer a member because she moved away. But I remember when she came to me. She had high blood pressure. She was, way overweight because she just sat around the whole pandemic, and a lot of that weight just started kind of coming on at that point. And she was just very frustrated because she wanted to be there for her kids. She had in her family. There's a lot of early death in her family as well too, right? So she wanted to fight against that, and she just wanted to feel better. She wanted to feel attractive again. So I sat down with her, and I think I put her in one of our challenges. She won. She won a challenge based on body fat percentage, so that was a good thing. And from there, she was hooked. And I think I was probably we were probably working out with her for a good maybe almost 2 years. And in that 2 years, she lost 100. She lost 100 pounds. So she got down to about 225. So which was mind blowing because I had no idea that I knew we were good. I just didn't know we were that good. So it made me feel like the formula we have and the staff that we have actually works. And she felt like she felt better. She had her confidence back. She was able to run around with the kids more, and she just felt like that she mattered again, which made me get warm inside. I love seeing people that want to go get it, and they achieve it and they feel good about themselves. And that's what it's all about. Like, the gym shouldn't be about like pain, and it shouldn't be about like hardships and all that. It should be about love. You should be giving 110% to the gym, and you should get out of that love for yourself and respect, and you should get your confidence back. You got to earn that though. It can't be given to you.
Okay. That's kind of deep.
Mm-hmm.
Love for yourself. But
Yeah.
yeah, we know how the gym's important, like for extending your life and then
Mm-hmm.
getting stronger, um,
Yeah.
the
A
losing
lot
weight.
of
And I like your
yeah.
story about improving your posture.
Oh yeah, yeah. You gotta improve your posture. You don't want to be all slouched over, and you 30 years old, but you got the posture of a 60-year-old. You don't want that. That's not hot. That's not gonna get you a date. You gotta stand up. You gotta stand up tall. For sure. But it's about being active. Like a lot of people just think, because you get to a certain age, the activity stops. Like our whole most of our childhood we were in gym, and gym was always fun, right? You got to go there, you get to exert all that energy, and you stay pretty fit. And then after high school, if unless you went to college and was in some kind of sport, you weren't really in the gym or anything like that anymore. Your body still needs that though. Just because you're not a kid anymore doesn't mean you shouldn't run around and do what you need to do. These are things that are innate inside of us that we need to tap into. We're not supposed to be on the couch. Our bodies are not meant to be slumped over on the couch. Our bodies are meant to be carrying things and going up hills and all that stuff. We're meant to be active. I mean, if you look at our physicality, we have muscles for a reason. You got to tap into that. And another thing is when you're dealing with working out, you can work out all day, but you also need to have a good diet. I mean, I had my little cheat meal earlier before we started talking, but I don't eat like that all the time. But some people eat like that all the time. They
Yes.
have to have fried foods. They have to have the pork and all that stuff. The fatty content, the cakes, the pies, and all that stuff. To me, those things to me are treats. Like I gotta work for that.
Okay.
I gotta earn that. If I'm not earning it, if I don't earn that, then I'm not eating it. And like I said, I have like cheat meals maybe once a week, maybe one every other week. And, the rest of the week is more so like, you know, small meals. I do like four small meals a day. I always start my day with the breakfast, and I get a snack, and I get a lunch, and I get a dinner. And they're always sensible type meals that make sense. Like I need protein because I work out a lot, right? And my muscles need protein to like mend itself and build, right? So I do a lot of protein. I drink a lot of water. I eat vegetables because that's going to feed, everything that I'm trying to do. All those things, lead to something. So at this point in my life, I look at food as fuel. You know.
Okay. So, Coach,
Yeah. What's
uh,
up?
what would you say to somebody who finds it difficult to be motivated? And then
Mm,
what about the person that doesn't like working out?
gotcha. Yeah, I meet that person all the time. I mean, you're looking at that person. I used to be that person. I didn't like working out. Like I was skinny my whole life. You could probably push me over with a toothpick back in the day. I remember days. I swear to God, like I remember I used to go. I used to work. I used to go to college downtown. And you know how the wind is downtown, right? It's
Yeah.
real heavy. I was probably about a buck, maybe a buck eight, something like that, but that wind was so strong, it knocked me over. And that's when I was like, man, that wind just knocked me on my butt, man. Like I'm that weak, but it puts things in perspective. I shouldn't be like that. I shouldn't be that weak. But I would tell people, anybody that's, on the fence about working out and everything, I would tell them like, look, do you want to have a long lasting life? What kind of quality of life do you want to have? Do you want to have the type of life that you're chasing pills and, doing quick diet little fixes and, do you want to have the type of life that you like, it pains you to just sit down, it pains you to stand up, it pains you to lay down, you got an excuse for everything. I always tell people like you gotta live your truth, and you also have to walk your path, right? Your path should not be a path of pain and suffering. You don't have to do that. You know, heaven's what you make it, and hell's what you go through. So why go through hell? You know, I'd rather go through heaven. And the best way to go, best way to get to heaven is hard work and dedication. You know, if you don't like working out, you have to you have to find a reason to like it. You got to make it fun. If it's painful, I always tell people there's progress in pain. Pain means progress, right? So if you're in pain, that means you're growing your muscles. You're tapping into, what it's supposed to be. You're tapping into success. So when I work out, if I don't feel pain a day or two later, I'm like, dang, I failed because I didn't push myself to that point that I should feel. If I don't work out where my hands are shaking a little bit, that means I didn't hit my afterburn. That means I'm not going to burn a lot of fat, and I get upset about that. Right? You got to have goals for yourself. What I tell people sometimes, I'm like, if you don't find that working out is enjoyable to you, how about setting up little goals for yourself? Like sign up for little like 5K races and say, you know what, I'm going to train for this 5K, and then that's what you focus on. You focus on that, getting to that point, or I want to hike and I want to go to Lake Tahoe. I want to hike, but I need to be in shape to do that. So I always say find little things that you want to focus on to get you to, want to work out, you know. But you should also want to work out, for yourself. A lot of people have kids and nieces and nephews. You know, kids look at you. Kids look up to us as the elders. And if we're all broken and in pain and all stuff like that, they're gonna be looking at that and they're gonna get low motivation from that. We gotta do it for the kids because my kids they see me and they're like, man, they think I'm super. They think I'm a superhero.
Mhm.
They think I'm a superhero for sure. Like my kids, the first thing they do when they come to me, they don't even hug me no more. They punch me right in the stomach
Mm.
because they know they can't hurt dad. They can't get past that. And but they love it, and we love being an active family.
You
We
got
go.
girls or boys?
I got two girls.
Oh, okay.
Two girls, man. They're strong. They're strong girls. They have strong. They're strong-willed. They have huge personalities, and they have confidence. And I wanted to instill confidence in my daughters so they won't be taken advantage of. You know.
Okay. I like
So,
that.
yeah. Did I answer your question? I feel like I went on a rant. I don't know if I asked your question.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay. Cool.
So during the pandemic, so how was business and what lesson did you take
Mm.
away from it? What lesson did you take away from COVID?
Whew. COVID was crazy, man. COVID was crazy. If you could believe this, I actually before I redid my company, I was doing better during COVID than outside of COVID. If you could believe that, that
Okay.
was crazy. Let me explain how that happened. So when I opened up my first gym, Fit Body Boot Camp, in 2020, I thought I was going to fail because everybody told me I was going to fail. But I'm the type of person where that fuels me to prove people wrong. So if
Okay.
people doubt, the worst thing somebody can do is doubt me. If they
Okay.
doubt me, my whole motivation is to prove you wrong, 110%, right? So anyway, I had this big campaign about the grand opening of a gym, and I was looking for like 50 people, for my grand opening. So, you know, I had a good ad campaign on Facebook, and we had a great grand opening. I got to my goal. I actually exceeded my goal a little bit. I think I got like maybe 56, 57 people, something like that, and it just started growing. Because one reason why we did so well is because I was the only gym that was not afraid to be open. A lot of gyms were afraid to be open, or they were in counties that didn't allow them open. DuPage is really nice because they left it up to us to decide if we were going to stay open or not. But we just had to adhere to certain parameters, right? We had to be 6 feet apart. Luckily, my facility is huge, so everybody was 6 feet apart. You had to sanitize your hands, had to wear masks and stuff like that, and we did great. And we also launched our Zoom platform where people could work out at home if they were too afraid to come in.
Okay.
You know, so the pandemic was actually pretty good for us because people were like, "I've been staying at home. I need to be active. So everybody was rushing, into my gym because they knew that they wanted to, stay fit. Now, when COVID was over, everybody lost their mind, and the first thing everybody did was put the gym last on the list, and they all took flights and went elsewhere. They either moved out of the state or they went on these, vacations, and they got super busy. They got wrapped up in their kids' lives again because they had to start carting their kids around, different sporting events. They put themselves last. I think now people now realizing, ooh, that was a big mistake because now I'm back to where I was. So now I'm getting people that are old, my old crew is coming back because they're like, "Yo, I got to get back to the way I was." The originals are coming back. The original 56, 57 people are coming back, and I'm loving it because now they realize the importance of being in the gym and having goals.
Okay. Coach,
Mm-hmm.
what is your favorite book?
My favorite book. Oh my goodness, that's a good question. I have a few. One. I have one here that I like. It's called. You can read this. It's called Man Up. Oh, you probably can't read it.
I see it, man up.
Yeah, Man Up. This is a really good book. It just talks about accountability and not making excuses for yourselves. A lot of times as adults we make a bunch of excuses, and I feel like we're in a excuse driven society, right? And we want to pander to everybody. Everybody's walking on eggshells. This book is telling you basically scrap all that. And if you have a dream, if you have a vision, if you have a goal, you got to crush it, And if you don't know, not knowing something is not an excuse anymore, right? You have the internet. I tell my kids this all the time. Don't ask me anything because you guys have everything at your disposal at your fingertips because you have YouTube and all that stuff. You got Google. I didn't have any of that stuff. I was forced to ask my mom, and then she always had the answer.
Okay.
But to me, I say all this to say, obviously I'm gonna answer that question, but I'm saying it to say, if you have the internet is one of the most powerful tools on the planet, right? And there's so much things that you can learn from it, but there's also a lot of things that can distract you from it too. So you got to focus your content on things that are going to help you and not hurt you.
Okay.
I choose to pick things that are talking about businesses and how to grow your business and how to conduct yourself as a man, all that stuff like that. Another book that's one of my favorites is it's a historical book because I'm a kind of a history buff, but it's a book about when the Moors occupied Spain for, I think it was like 400 years, I believe. But it's a piece of history they don't talk about because the Moors were black leaders, black warriors, black kings and queens, and they actually occupied a pretty important piece of Europe for a long period of time. And it should be taught because it's a very powerful piece of history. A lot of times when I was in school, they act like Black history started as slavery, but it actually predates that eons ago, right? So I like to learn about the things beyond, you know, prior to slavery.
That
Yeah,
sounds interesting. I got to get that info from you later so I can
I
put it up.
will. I will. No problem.
Okay.
Yep.
Coach, I'm gonna switch over to love real quick. So,
Love. Oh my goodness.
are
Jesus.
you are you are you are you single or married?
I'm married. Been married for a long time. Long time.
Okay, Coach, tell us one thing that you learned about money as it pertains to relationships that could help somebody else.
Um, Money in relationships. I would say this: if you're when you're in a relationship, right, or you're about to get married, you guys got to figure out money prior to that. I feel like a lot of times, in our community, we kind of don't talk about that because it's kind of taboo and all that, and we don't talk about a lot of the things that are going to set you up for success, right? So, some of the things that you need to talk about before you even, get married is finances. You need to talk about, hey, let me see that credit score. Let me see, are you paying your taxes? Get all that stuff out the way because you got to figure out what is owed, and then you got to figure out, okay, do I want to take that on? as an individual, because when you're together, you're intermingling all that stuff together, right? So you're taking on that person's debt. You're also taking on that person's success as well too, and their wealth. You know, I never get that. I never get the relationships where they get married and they have separate bank accounts. Like I get it from the standpoint of, okay, let me have a separate bank account so I can kind of, do some things on my own. But there should be at least one bank account that you guys share so you guys can just pay bills and function. Keep everything. I look at marriage almost like a business, right? So in my business, I have a business partner, right? It's me and my boy Kevin, right? I don't it, I don't have my own separate business account, and he has his own separate business account. We have one business account under the LLC, right? And we pay all the stuff through there. And I look at relationships like that too. It should be one account that you're funneling everything through, that you're going to be paying bills and groceries and all the ancillary things like that. Then you should have your own account when you want to buy fun stuff like a PS4, PS5, whatever, that kind of thing. But and it also needs to be a budget, right? Again, I look at marriage like a business, so there needs to be some sort of budget. What's the food budget look like? What's the entertainment budget? What's our vacation budget? What's our investment budget? What are we going to invest in? Because again, it's a partnership, it's a business, so you should be trying to grow together and support each other. If somebody has an idea in a relationship, cultivate that idea together and become partners, and feed each other's dreams, right? Now, if the idea is stupid, you can call it stupid, but if it makes sense somewhat, help them try to bring it to fruition. Those type of things.
Okay, I know the ideal ain't stupid though.
It
Hey,
can be. I've had some dumb ideas, so I get it.
hey,
Yeah,
hey, Coach. Two more questions before we
yeah, go
go.
for it. Mm-hmm.
Um, where can people find you to join your gym?
Yeah,
Find out more.
gotcha. Yeah, so the new website is www.naper300elite.com. That's www.naper300elite.com. You can also follow us on Facebook at Naper300elite, and also Instagram, same thing, at Naper300elite. We are located at 1320 North Route 59. We are in the north part of Naperville, not too far from 88 Expressway and 59 Street. We're in a beautiful mall called the Design Center. It looks like Hollywood. It's a nice, fresh look. You're gonna feel like royalty when you pull up in there. That's where we are. We've been there for almost 3 years now, and we've been rocking since then. We have brand new equipment as well too. I just put together a whole lot of new equipment. We have 4 row machines now. We have 4 ski urge machines. We have this huge, they call it a rig. It's a huge rig where you can do monkey. It has monkey bars on it. You can do squats on it because it's like a squat rack. You could do, pull ups. You can do bench press. A whole slew of different workouts on that rig. It's huge. It's beautiful, and it was a huge investment. But I wanted to get more into um, specialty training and getting people really into fitness and everything. So that's
Okay.
what we got.
Sounds good. Looks like Hollywood. I like Hollywood.
Looks like Hollywood. You've been there. That's a nice mall.
Yeah, but I just want to be walking around like this instead of
Crazy, 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 crazy.
Okay, Coach. Last thing.
Mm-hmm.
What are the last words that you have for the audience?
Oh man, you put me on the spot. I would tell people, don't let anybody tell you you can't do something. If people are hating on you, don't get mad at haters. Haters, that's fuel for me. Like if somebody's hating on you, that means that they are threatened by you and your potential. I feel like everybody on this planet has potential, and it's really up to you to tap into that potential, right? My whole life I was told I wasn't going to be anything, right? I didn't have a father growing up. I was a latchkey kid. I had a troubled past. I was very angry. had a crazy temper, and wasn't very motivated to do anything. I just wanted to just have fun and do me. And I let people kind of control my destiny by, injecting doubt, fear, and complacency in me. And for a long time, those people won. The haters were winning for a long time. But luckily, I found a mentor. He's a black business owner on the South Side. His name is Quinn Love, and he really instilled a lot of life lessons in me and motivation, and gave me books to read, and yeah, I got to meet Fred Hampton Jr. through him. And you start meeting all these powerful people, and you start understanding like what life is really about, and then you start having things to shoot for. It's about that motivation, right? I joined a fraternity, in college, and that exposed me to more positive black men that were doing things. I met doctors, lawyers, dentists, orthodontists. You name the successful thing, I've met them. In my fraternity, I've filed Fraternity Incorporated, best fraternity ever. So shameless plug right there. Um, and then I kind of changed. I did a total 180. I grew from that. I feel like people need to grow and constantly evolve. I learn something every year. I would tell you, be a student of the world, keep dreaming, keep planning, and keep motivating the world, and stay positive. Even through a sea of negativity, be positive, because a positive person is always going to win. In the end. So that's my little spiel. You know,
Keep dreaming and be positive.
keep dreaming, be positive, and plan. Be a planner. Just don't wing it. Be a planner. That's why I asked you for these questions beforehand. I wanted to plan. I wanted to plan. Be a planner, man. That's how you plan success, man. You gotta plan your success. You gotta see it. You gotta visualize it. Start putting things up on the wall that you want in your life. Focus on that. I'm a big advocate for the universe, and when you see things and you keep meditating on it, you keep seeing it, it's gonna come true. Believe that.
All right. Well, it
Yeah.
sounds good, Coach. Well, thank you for
Hmm.
being on the show and sharing your story. It's good having you.
No problem. No problem. Again, thank you. And you see in the background, Naper 300 Elite right there. Naper 300 Elite is taking over. This is the very first location of many franchises I'm going to do. So hopefully you guys represent, come out, support. And thank you so much for inviting me on this show, Shakira. And hopefully I see you in the gym very soon too. I got to stay on you because I'm about the accountability. So I want to see you in the gym soon as well too.
All right. I see you in the gym.
All right, cool. Anything else?
That is it.
All right. Well, make me look good, yo.
All right.
All right. See.